I'm your host, Jackie McGriff, and if this is your first time listening or watching, welcome to Representation in Cinema. We talk about the films that center Black, Brown, and Indigenous voices, as well as the film industry itself. I'm not only your host, but also the founder, director, and co producer of Our Voices Project, a production company committed to sharing the stories and lived experiences of Black, Brown, and Indigenous peoples through visual storytelling and truth telling. We're community engaged filmmakers who firmly believe that you can't center films on these communities without being in community and in solidarity with them. If you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and the little bell to get notified about new episodes when they drop. And if you're listening on your preferred podcast platform, hit that follow button, rate us 5 stars, and leave a comment to share your thoughts about any of the things that we bring up in this and in other episodes. Throughout February and March, we're going to be talking about Black directors who we feel deserve their flowers. With all the talk about the amount of snubs Ryan Coogler and Nia DaCosta are getting, which is pretty on brand for Hollywood, if you ask me, but I digress. I wanted to spend time talking about the filmmakers who inspire us and are creating incredible films. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Jordan Peele, the director behind Get Out, Us, and Nope. Before I get into some background about Jordan Peele, I'm going to introduce our guest returning to the podcast, Taurus Savant. Taurus is a queer Black artist, singer songwriter, composer, published author, and community advocate that moves in steely resolve in the names of authenticity, perseverance, and audacity. Welcome back, Taurus.
That is correct. Thank you for having me back. Happy to be here.
Yes. Now, on to Jordan Peele. What if I became the monster? This is certainly one way to deal with your innermost fears. For award winning director, writer, actor, and producer Jordan Peele, this is where it started for him. As a kid, these stories freaked him out to the point of having nightmares, but he still loved a good horror story. On a press tour for his film Get Out, he recounts a pivotal moment for him on a ninth grade trip where he tells a story to his classmates. He remembers the look of shock and undivided attention the other students gave him. For many, Peele entered our homes as the comedic satirist, actor, and co producer on Comedy Central's Key and Peele. While it feels good to make so many people laugh, Peele says there's nothing compared to making an audience shudder. That's what has really stuck with him all of these years. From captivating his young audience as a high schooler to writing the script for Get Out, the driving force for wanting to make horror films has been the internal question: what if I became the monster? What if I became the thing that I'm most afraid of? Suspense for Peele is everything. We all have very real fears in this world, and telling scary stories is Peele releasing all of his fears and battling the unpleasantness of his own nightmares, as he puts it. When he was writing Get Out, he was feeling very low in his life, and this film dug him out of that. At the time that he was developing the story for Get Out, Black America was grieving the murder of Trayvon Martin. This brought up so many thoughts around the victimization of Black people, how we go about our lives like business as usual while Black men are being incarcerated, the use and labor of Black bodies while neglecting, ignoring, and shoving aside the soul, and the horrors of everyday racism through microaggressions. Born to a white mother and a Kenyan father, one of the real life monsters he's had to face is being seen as other. At 6 years old, Peel had to fill out a standardized test and eventually got to the demographic question section. Not having any other options, he checked the box next to other. He didn't fit into any of the boxes that the world told him he was supposed to fit into. This would be the inspiration for the film Us, tackling that feeling of being seen and answering the question: what if the invading force has been our face or is our face? Still, there's always room for comedy, and in fact, Peele uses this against his audience. His writing style often leads the audience, assuming that we know where it's headed, only for it to go in an entirely different direction, giving us a moment of comedic relief, leaving us just vulnerable enough to bring this horror right back to the surface. It's in its power that he holds over the audience and over this symbolic monster that he's trying to overcome in his writing that allows him to go places he couldn't have imagined or we couldn't have imagined any Black filmmaker going. In an interview with Film Independent about Get Out, he had very real doubts about whether or not he could have a film where every white person is terrible and the audience collectively roots for a Black man trying to kill them all. It's all because of a rule that he has for himself when writing. You have to get the audience on the same page at all times, he states. He not only dreams up the unexpected, making for a very engaged audience locked in for a good horror film, but also embedding thoughtful commentary about race, being seen as the other, and our obsession with spectacle. This is why we're giving Jordan Peele his flowers. If you haven't already watched his films, we highly recommend that you do so. All right. So, with that, let's talk about the trilogy that's not really a trilogy, but that we encourage you to watch. Just so you know, we're going to be getting into spoilers, so you can't say we haven't warned you. All right. So, for Get Out, our producer Chris with the brief synopsis of the film for those of you who haven't seen it and are watching with spoilers, which I commend you on because honestly, I can't do that much.
So, Get Out 2017 follows Chris, Daniel Kaluuya,
Mhm.
a young black photographer visiting his white girlfriend's parents for the weekend.
Oh, dang.
While initially dismissed as awkward, overly accommodating behavior, the family's actions and those of their neighbors grow increasingly sinister, forcing Chris to uncover a terrifying hidden conspiracy to survive.
Yes, and with that, the first thing I think that just sort of pops up to my mind as you read that synopsis, Chris, was him getting to the house, and opening the door and his father saying, I would have voted for Obama a third time." I just remember sitting there just going, "And here we go.
There it is.
Here it is. There it is." Have you, Taurus, have you ever gotten anything that's like, because I know that what I felt in that moment, feeling as though like these are the kinds of things that I'm hearing all the time. Like what went through your mind at that moment?
Exactly what you just said. I said, "Oh, this is the appeal. This is the way that you're gonna get me to say, hey, I'm on your side, regardless of whether you are or not." But that's something that would immediately put the antenna up
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
my head. So I'm glad that he thought enough to start having the same thought.
Yeah, because it always strikes me as like, okay, you're says that, yeah, no, no, I'm one of the safe ones, I'm one of the good ones.
The
It's
good whites.
the good whites. It kind of likens to all of the, what was it? It was the white women who wanted to wear the, like, the blue bracelets to let us know that they're on our side or whatever.
I
Do you remember
strangely
that?
don't remember that,
No,
and I'm
okay.
kind of glad I
So,
don't.
no, that's fine. That's fine because there are probably corners of the internet, especially specifically I'm talking about TikTok, that it was nuts. Like there were people, okay. So there were these this is white woman who got on TikTok and was like, we want to show that we were in solidarity, that we, weren't one of the ones that voted for, the what do I call him now?
Not Obama.
Yeah, the not even not Obama. No, it was like it was this past year, like the 2024 election. This is what this was the go-to. It
Mm.
was like this is what at least like reminds me of it again and again because of course Get Out is one of my comfort horror movies if such a thing exists. But let's just say it does. For that purpose. But so there were white women who wanted to show that they didn't vote for the Cheeto. And so they were like,
The important line in the summary that I think will add some important color
Okay.
to this situation,
Yeah.
Color.
inspired by Taylor Swift's Eras Tour friendship bracelets.
"Oh my god, that just makes I don't know if
That is
it
the
worse."
white icing on the white cake right there. I mean, these bracelets is reminding me of saying, well, if a black person comes near me, I won't scream. In fact, I'll unlock my door. You can come in and you can take whatever you like. It's reparations.
Yeah, but that's literally these are the kinds of things,
Mhm.
right? That like is that are said, and it's again, I think, especially when like looking back at interviews, with Peel talking about Get Out, uh, all of his films, the way he starts his writing process, it's like thinking through all of these different things that have just been circling in his mind, the things that really have just either been like bothering him, the things that he's fearful of. And, one of the things is that the way in which you're having to deal with all these microaggressions. Like, even though people mean well, that doesn't necessarily mean like you are a safe person to be around,
Hmm.
right? You'll say things to like prop yourself up as someone that we can trust, but then in the midst of all of that, you're still doing stuff that it doesn't deem you safe. And the thing is also too, like Peel often talks about or has talked about how again he's wanting everybody in the audience like to be on the same page. So of course, for black folks, watching the film, we're gonna resonate with that.
Hmm.
For anyone who is not black, you're seeing the world through Chris's eyes. So you know that it's okay, there's an awkward thing here, or it's an embarrassing thing. Like if you're a white person watching this, you're going, "My God, did you really just okay?" Like that is like it's all of these things. You're essentially again looking at all of this, with through Chris's eyes, and so you have to have everybody in the audience, like, on the same page to get why and how this is a very awkward, like, thing, but then it doesn't stop, right?
It does
It
not.
does not stop, right? They finally go in and sit down. The dad is like, "So how long has this thing been going
Yes.
on?" And I'm like, I okay, okay. And like, and the thing is like, see, and none of this, like, again, uh, it's the way in which it's done. It's also like it's during the day. There's nothing like jumping out at you. There's nothing that's like your quintessential like horror, but it is like every day for black folks in this country. It's another thing that we're having to deal with, and that in
Mhm.
and of itself is the horror. Peel said that the reason when he started developing this story, he started writing this story, he was thinking very much like a producer because he wasn't sure whether or not he would actually have access to a lot of the kind of like the special effects and visual effects that you would normally assign in a horror film where you have a monster or something. So he's like, you know what, I'm going to put the horror in the dialogue. I'm going to put the horror in like the acting. Um which definitely
It reads.
it reads
It definitely
very
reads.
well, very well. What are some of the other moments for you, Taurus, when you're thinking about Get Out and everything? And I'm also just like wanting to really like talk about like the impact. I talked a little bit about it, with those not it's not the opening scenes, but kindly when things start to like pop off.
Mhm.
So like what is a moment for you or a couple moments?
Well, watching it, I mean, as an audience member, I mean, I think everybody who watches it as a black person, whether you're a man or woman or somewhere in between, looks at that and goes, "Oh, intuition's up. I know this is about
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
turn," and we're all waiting for the moment where he goes, "This is the part where we're going to just kinda he's gonna break out and leave."
Mhm.
But the fact that he tries to stick in there so much, when they talked about this distant relative,
Mhm.
because in the you know what, now, Get Out was released in 2017, correct?
Yes.
So I've seen it last year, so I've heard lots of references to, uh I don't wanna call it like the centerpiece of the movie, but I call it the centerpiece of the movie, which is The Sunken Place.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so hearing about it for years and years and years, and then finally seeing it, and I was like, "This is exactly what I envisioned it would be." It's exactly that, and the way that you can get trapped in
Mhm.
there, and you root for him and say, "How's he gonna find his way out?" Through channeling of mediums and sort of things like that. But that's kind of the part for me is when does he find when he finally gets out and realizes, yeah, this is not for me. I got to get out of here. And if he was choosing to leave her behind, was true love going to prevail over
Mm.
racism? And how much were you willing to withstand from this family to have this relationship until he realizes, oh, the entire time it was you.
Yeah.
It was you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
whole thing
The
was a
whole
ploy. And so how much were you willing to put away your willing suspension of disbelief as a person in that situation to try to see it through when he could have just trusted his intuition and probably turned tail the second that door
Yeah. Yeah.
opened?
Because there's a lot in that happens like up to that moment where you're wanting and like as again you're looking at the world through Chris's eyes, so you're like wanting things to work out with his girlfriend, just despite her not fully understanding what's happening like in the moments that he's
Mhm.
trying to explain, but he can't explain because then like you'd have to be black to understand.
I
um
expected her to try to save it, but I didn't think she
no,
would.
exactly,
I didn't
no,
have a
no,
lot of
no.
faith in it.
But then you're like, okay, so he's trying to, he just has to get through this, he just has to get through this, he just has to get through this, and then at the reveal, it's like, oh, we waited too late. We waited too late. You should
Mhm,
have been gone. You should have been gone.
mhm,
And it's like it's all of these like different things. Now, the part that I'm like kind of like, you know what, I could definitely see. I don't know. I feel like, and maybe not. Maybe I wouldn't in this situation, but like upon like see so he's okay a photographer, and but he's taking so he has his but he has a cell phone,
mhm.
and because him and his friend who I will get to, who is hilarious, oh my god, he um as he's like they're trying to figure out like who this other black man, like the being the only one,
Mhm,
other than the person who works there on the property, but this other man at the party, so he's thinking, okay, this is somebody else, like, hey, can I, be real with for a second? And then in trying to investigate who this person is, takes a picture, it flashes, and that like jump starts like this, Lakeith Stanfield's character, um, in like kind of like resets him a little bit. And so this man is like trying to tell him like get out, get out. Now that would have scared the crap out of me. I would have been like, you know what? I'm out.
It wouldn't have taken a lot of
It was
convincing
just, it
for
was
me.
like I was just like it's time to go. Like I just remember watching that for the first time and going, yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like maybe you should listen to your friend.
Mhm.
I yeah.
I mean, between the fella and the house lady, uh,
My god.
that's what she is. She's I mean, I found them to be the best adjective I can describe. Uncanny,
Yeah.
completely uncanny. Where it's just like those are people who are around the house. These are people who seem familiar, but clearly something's astray, and we couldn't quite figure out what it was. And the fact that he still wasn't adding all that up to still realize why he should leave or even try to get them out. I appreciate that he did make a valiant effort to say, hey, maybe this is a let's all try to escape out of here. But
Yeah. Ooh.
sometimes the pull is just a little too deep.
Well, and what did that say to you in that moment? Because I know what it said for me, especially if he's like trying to rescue like other black folks out of that situation.
Very heroic, but you can't win them all.
Mm.
You can't win them all.
Mhm.
It's what is it worth for you to now be an example of this is what I have to do to get out of here. I can lead by example and you can go, but wherever you go or not, I'm going because
Yeah.
it's not safe for me. Clearly, you've been here a while, and maybe the universe probably put him there, possibly to try to come in there and liberate it.
Mm.
But whether or not they go too far in the
Sunken
there it
place.
is. Too far, too
So
far.
so wait, so when you would hear sunken place and you had no idea, did you put two and two together, or were you just kind of like, okay, I don't, this
I
is just a reference I
I
don't get.
mean, the first time I heard it in reference to, oh, such and such is in the sunken place, and I heard it in reference to Get Out. I didn't know the entire synopsis of the film before I saw it, but I knew enough to know that it's a place that you don't want to be. And if you're telling a black person they're in the sunken place, that means uh they got and they need some help from the community to get out. And that's why I imagine it's not just called Get Out because they needed to leave that scenario. It's Get Out because get these people from the sunken place. So when I finally saw that and was like, oh yeah, it's definitely like a deep within like
Mhm.
your subconscious. You're so far away and you can see, the real world further up, going
Mhm.
further and further away from you, and you just gotta find a way to claw your way back out. So I can
Mhm.
envision a lot of people who get stuck in the sunken place, whether they're there voluntarily or they got put there by, something or somebody else to be so far removed from the real world, so far removed from themselves, so far removed from whatever their purpose in life
Yeah.
was that they are now going to be stuck there. And that to me, it beyond the frightening white people. That to me was more frightening to me
Yeah.
is wow, what happens if you get put into that place and who's there to pull you out if you can't pull yourself out?
Yeah. Oh,
Because
because that's what I and that right there is also too another like a scary thing when you think about it because we see the Keith Stanfield's character. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Because they definitely talk about it when they're trying to figure out who this man is, because he seems familiar to Chris. Um
So the name's Logan King
okay,
in
Logan King. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and who is the house lady so I can stop calling her house lady?
so
The house lady.
Sorry.
Georgina's the name, but
Yes.
the actress
Yeah.
is Betty Gabriel, and the I'd say the Walter, who's the guy who was running,
Yeah.
was Marcus Henderson, and I
Okay.
think that Lakeith Stanfield speech
Yeah.
before he gets the flash,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's so
Yeah.
jarring.
Mhm.
Where it's like, what is your experience as a
Yeah.
black person? And it's just
Yeah.
so
It's so weird. I'm like,
Ooh.
And they're younger than I thought they would be.
yeah.
They seemed like they were kind of like older folks, but they were
Yeah.
kind of like around the same age. So
Yeah, it's yeah. And so the like I said, like the horror, like going back again to like Keith's character, um, like the opening scene is him getting like kidnapped, being snatched, like out, like he's out walking, and then bopped on the head and then thrown into a trunk, like, and then of course then you see him, his consciousness, like everything about him is totally changed, and then we never see him again. So it's like, oh my gosh, like this man is just like minding his business, and then he just like, you know you never see him again, and he's never himself again, except for maybe that one little moment, right, where he sees the light,
mhm,
and then that's it. They reset him, and then
mhm,
yeah, it's a very that in of itself, again, it's not like your classic horror, type trope or scenario or whatever, but it very much in and of itself is in the intro, Peel was very much thinking about the disappearance of black men, especially them getting, snatched off of the street and put into prison, um, and folks just going about their business as if it's business as usual, and I think that is very prevalent, especially when we're talking about not only just like the central theme of like trying to again, liberate your people who are so deep into the sunken place that it's
mhm.
like impossible like to get them out. I think it's also again in those moments like you're seeing that theme definitely carry throughout. Were there any other themes that really stuck out to you, Taurus, with this film?
To be quite frank, I think everything well, not to say everything, but the majority really did kind of center on the sunken place, but even to your point about, being dragged off the street, which is an allegory for
Mhm.
folks who are being dragged off the street,
Yeah.
disappeared, never to be seen again, and then if they are seen again, they've been through some unspeakable horrors that
Mhm.
when they come back, they're not quite the same. And I think that I mean, girlfriend's evil family. There's a smidgen of a trope there. I
Mhm.
mean, even when you kind of watch it in the beginning and go, right, well, this is a black man, this is a white girl, she's, he's meeting the family, of course it's going to be an awkward sort of
Yeah.
introduction.
Yeah.
You do kind of wonder how awkward it's going to get, but because it's the theme of the film, it's like, well, how sick and twisted could it really turn to be? And maybe I was slow on the uptake as to not suspect the girlfriend as the culprit
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
end. I mean, it seemed like she was trying to help, and I loved the moment when he did realize that it was her, and then understood what he kind of had to do. Because what's it worth? I mean, from my understanding, I don't think they had even been together that long for that to like,
No, I
like
don't think it was. No, I don't think it was that long.
you could leave her behind. You can find you a nice Nubian queen who will not put you in the sunken place. That's what you get for driving out the West Bummer Freak. But good effort. I
Oh my
mean, he was already
goodness.
nervous about it in the first, so like
Yeah.
he, despite his apprehension, still decided to give it a chance.
Yeah.
And now he's like, well, this is what I get.
Yeah.
So now he knows in the future he ain't gonna ever do that again.
When this film first came out, there was a kind of like this is the only like instance that I actually compare this to Sinners, but in the same way that Sinners got a lot of discourse, like a lot of people talking about it, a lot of people breaking it down. I remember Get Out like doing somewhat of the same, except it it wasn't necessarily like so much on social media because of obviously like social media has grown so big now. But I was seeing a lot of YouTube breakdowns of Get Out. And it sparked a lot of conversation. And so one of the things that I remember someone pointing out is like, okay, when Chris realizes that he has to find a way out of the situation. Um, he ends up using cotton to plug his ears
That's right. Yes, he did.
so that he wouldn't get, put back into the sunken place and everything. What for you thematically does that call for you? Yeah.
I think you know. But for the greater audience who just needs a little bit more of a visual aid,
Because we know what it means. We know.
cotton, like cotton gin, like plantations, like slavery. Ironically, the one thing that is going to plug your ears, guys, people do put cotton in their ears to block things out. And hypnotism is kind of a tool used to kind of suggest people to do what you want. So when all you have is that, it's an ironic twist of fate,
Yeah.
but it saved his life.
Yeah. 'Cause
I certainly wish he had something else.
Yes,
but-
because that was the thing that like really stuck with me because I'm like, okay, Peel, what is it that you're trying to say? Because, because like the fact that he's not able to do any like he's obviously tied down. They have this like hypnotism like mechanism, right, with the teacup and everything, to sedate him essentially, for him to like have to claw through the seat, and use the cotton. That's the thing that kept tripping me up because I remember like again watching that, someone bringing that up and then going, "Oh my gosh, okay, Peel, like why would you use that?" And I guess, and I don't know if it has anything to do with like, like using the master's tools.
That's what I kind of think of. I see why
Yeah.
not try to use the things that are being used to oppress you against the oppressor.
Yeah.
And even that regard, I think it also shows how easily suggestible humans are, where you don't think that you would be, vulnerable to hypnotism until you're sitting here
Yeah.
falling asleep
Right.
and doing whatever it is you're being told to do.
Yeah.
I've never been hypnotized. I don't think I ever want to because I'd be frightened of what somebody could make me do. So
Get yeah.
I'd be finding something other than cotton to plug my
Oh
ears.
my
But
goodness gracious.
but
Crazy.
bless him for thinking quick. I
Yeah.
mean, and even this being Jordan Peele's directorial debut,
Yeah.
because what we know is, like I said, I know him from Mad TV and then
Mhm.
eventually Key and Peele. So
Yeah.
seeing
Yeah.
such a dissonance
Yeah.
from something that makes me laugh to something that makes me incredibly uncomfortable. And that's the point, because how many times have I watched I can't say I've ever watched a film like that,
Yeah.
much less a black film with black actors who are, I mean, in 2017,
Mhm.
speaking how we speak in
Yeah.
2017. I mean, I guess now it's 2026, so now it's almost 10 years.
Oh my god.
So many
Ugh.
things have changed since then, and so many things have been really the same.
Mhm.
So that a film that was from 2017 you could watch today and it
Yeah.
still has extreme cultural relevance.
Yes. I also love that. I mean, well, Chris is a photographer, and I appreciate also. I mean, just
Yeah.
because I'm also a photographer, and I just appreciate that. But also, like the fact that so they're using again, they're using their bodies, they're using their labor, to get something for themselves. Um, and the whole conversation that Chris has with the person who ends up buying him, ugh, like, is
Stephen
like
Root's character in the
yes,
movie.
yeah, yeah. He was like, "Oh, I don't I you know, I it doesn't matter to me what color you are, I just want your eyes." It's a whole
What a
it's a
thing to
whole
say.
conversation in itself, like, you have no regard for, just another person's being, another person's well-being, another person's autonomy. Um but then the fact that it like, on top of it is that you are taking and it's for the very purpose of taking from black people. So for you to say something as wild as that, really was just again hitting home like so many of the themes that Peel was getting to. And that just I was like, there are like I'm like so many ways that one could go about like
Mhm.
correcting one's eyes. And then, like, you would go to that extreme. It's like, again, it's like one of those, like, again, fantastical things, right? That, horror films especially allow you to do. It's mind blowing. And I remember just sitting there, my mouth was just wide open. I'm like, "Ah." It's like with everything else that's happening in the movie, like that's
Mhm.
one of the things that's like
Yeah.
really just like messing with me.
Mhm.
It's
It was
crazy.
also the capstone of a series of comments that were the fetishization of black excellence,
Yes.
and that all of them in of themselves were like, "Oh, you have an amazing eye, you have this." But it
Yeah.
was the capstone of that fetishization of that
Hmm.
excellence that was the whole point,
Hmm.
that how insidious that was at the same
Hmm.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was really yeah, it was really something.
Yeah. For sure.
Mhm. That's why I like the synopsis that said the word sinister because that was the only way I could describe it.
Yes.
Sinister.
Sinister indeed.
Mhm.
But thankfully, um, this man, gets he's able to get out of the house without, like basically the having to fight off along all of these people, this entire family. Um, let's talk about that cop car. Coming down, I was like, oh, okay. I'm gonna tell you what's going through my mind. So I didn't have the pleasure of watching this in an audience setting. Um, like I think I rented it off of like, when Redbox was a thing.
Wow.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You know,
What a time to be
what a
alive.
time. What a time. So I rented off Redbox because everyone was like, Jackie, you need to watch this. You need to watch this film. So I'm sitting there and I'm already, anxiety, frustration, fear, all of that is just at an all-time high, right? And I'm like, he finally gets out. He's finally free of these people. And then the cop car pulls up, and I'm like, and I just remember thinking, Peel, you could give us like, can you just give us a break? Like, this is, I was prepared to be so angry, and give all of my hot takes, all of the commentary, all the things, and then we have the friend just pop out of the car, and I'm like, oh, thank God. And I've heard people who watch this with an audience, like the like the all of their anxieties, all of the like the anger, the frustration, the like disbelief that people were experiencing that was like audibly apparent, right before his friend gets out of the car, and then the hugest sigh of
I
relief.
mean, you saw me just do the slow, exasperated turn. I was like,
Cause
oh God, now, okay, all right, y'all, you almost got me right there. But that's the idea. You
that's
you
it.
do see a cop car, and your immediate thought is
Yeah.
extreme anxiety. Now what? What's about to
Right.
happen? Because you know that in that kind of uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in
Yep.
that kind of narrative, if you see in a police car, you know there's danger afoot.
Yeah.
It's not that there's a hero that's coming to save
Right.
you. You know
Yeah.
there's uh,
To,
chicanery. I don't
right.
know, but it
Exactly.
was on its way, and
Yeah.
then to subvert that, it's just like, I mean, you got a little annoyed, but you also did do a sigh of relief to go, okay, okay,
Yeah.
good,
Well,
because
the original, so Peele's original script was it was going to be an actual police officer like leaving, and he's like, "No, no, no, I'm gonna give my people a break. I'm gonna
thank
give my
you,
people a break," and I believe that was the right call.
thank you.
How you could have any other ending? I'm like to do all of that, to have gone through all that he's gone through, right? Okay, and then to only then be met like with a police officer. Yeah,
Yeah.
like where's the relief come, especially because you want that like in a horror film. And the thing is with Peel, like, again, I always feel like there are moments in his films, and we'll get to those in a moment, those other films in a moment, but there's always with Peel a moment where you're like, you son of a bitch. Like, because like there will be that moment you're expecting horror, just like the most like horrific thing to happen, and then it doesn't happen, and then he just lets you laugh. And I'm like, sir, I didn't my my nerves were already way up here. I didn't need, first of all, thank you, but also you suck.
I
Like,
like the laugh in
yeah,
between though. The laughing is kind of, and it's not even like an uncomfortable forced laughing. It's the
right.
kind of jokes or things that
Yeah.
you would say if you were in a certain kind of situation. It's like, oh hell no,
Yeah. Like,
because
I told you not to go to that house. And I'm
and
like,
that's
this is not
kind
the
of what you
time.
would do. I just feel like if it was me in that kind of situation, what kind of phrases would I utter if I was going through it? I'm sure that would make for a comedic, frightening time. But that's just the way that you kind of have to deal with
Yeah.
it, because when you've seen and been through so many things,
Yeah.
or and know so much, that it's like, oh my god, me right here right now, really? Okay, sure, all right,
Yes.
yeah, get the hell out of here.
Right.
Or
No, yeah, 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 yeah.
when they always talk about, oh, what white nonsense is this or something, because they know,
Yeah.
they know, and
Yeah.
everybody in the audience knows.
Yeah.
Even some of the white folks look at that, and even they know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everybody's clued in, and that's the
Everyone's
when you
clued
say
in.
about getting everybody on the
Same
same
page.
page,
Yep.
everybody who's watching it understands what
Hmm.
should
Yeah.
be happening. And
Yeah.
so even when they get to the end, even white folks are looking at the police car like, oh no, oh no, oh, I hope he doesn't get shot.
In that
And
exact voice. In that exact voice.
yeah.
And shout out to Lil Rel Howery. I mean, like
Yes.
every moment he's in the movie is fucking phenomenal.
Oh my god.
and
Sex slaves.
yeah.
Sex slaves. Like
He
that's what
did
like
say
that. I'm like, what, sir?
Yeah. And my understanding is it wasn't just the script. They filmed and showed that other ending to audiences. And the reaction
Ah.
was so bad
Yeah.
because of that downer
Yeah.
of an
Yeah.
ending. It was filmed, it was the original ending.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then they redid it
Mhm.
with that ending, with Lil Rel Howery finishing the movie with, I'm TS motherfucking A. We handle shit. That's what we do. Consider this situation fucking handled.
And it
God.
was.
And was.
And it
Oh, but it's and that right there is such a, as annoying as it like it's such a satisfying, because again, like, just like the film, like, so many things, right, speak to reality. And so for us to have gone through so many things, especially like with Chris, gone through this whole thing, seeing him fighting his way out, finally getting out, finally being free of this family, and then to not be met with some sort of like relief and release, like, is just
Mhm.
is doing a disservice to your audience. So I'm glad he,
Yeah, because if it was a white film, that would have happened.
yeah,
Mm.
for sure.
100%.
Just to stick it to you.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, well, any other thoughts about Get Out before we move to Us?
We got out.
We got out. We got out. Absolutely. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Chris, our synopsis for Us.
2019 psychological horror film Us follows Adelaide Wilson, Lupita Nyong'o, as she returns to her childhood beachfront home in Santa Cruz for a summer getaway with her husband Gabe, Winston Duke, and their two children Zora, Shahadi Wright Joseph, and Jason Evan Alex. And with supporting cast of Elizabeth Moss and Tim Heidecker, but also two versions of Lupita Nyong'o, Winston Duke, and the two kids.
Yes. All right. So this is now, Taurus, you said this is fresher, like in your mind.
Yes.
So I'm gonna let you take the reins on your initial reaction to this film.
My initial reaction to this film, majority of what I was saying as I was watching it was, girl, what the fuck? Really and truly. I mean, I would say it was definitely a slow burn because I knew there was some sort of ominous. So
Yeah.
I went into it knowing a lot less about it than I did about Get Out. So I didn't
Mhm.
know the synopsis of it at all.
Oh, that's
Except
the
for,
best.
well, seeing a smidgen of like, what it, the creepy face in the title card.
The tethered. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that.
Watching it, and first of all, before I even continue, Winston Duke, the man that you are.
Yes. Speak on it.
That's all I had to say about that.
They understood it. The audience understood
The audience
exactly
understood.
what we were talking about.
Wholesome family of
Yeah.
them going along, and then I saw the childhood scene, and the joy of being at an amusement park with your family, and your family who gets a little bit too turnt and can't really pay it. So that something obviously happens when she disappeared for the amount of time that she
Yeah.
did. You just don't know exactly what.
Yeah.
I'd see her apprehension about going back to the beach, and my immediate thought was, something's afoot. I don't know what it is, but something's afoot, and we're gonna find out. He's trying to enjoy his vacation. I know the boy's a little he's a little unique in his interests, and
Yeah.
in meeting his white friends,
Yeah.
and their time on the beach, and understanding why she was being so protective of her kids
Mhm.
disappearing, because now
Mhm.
she realizes what's happening. And when
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken, his son was the first one to
Mhm.
kind of see the strange happenings, even with that man that died,
Yeah.
and finding out eventually that this is a whole different crowd of doppelgangers, and I was
Yeah.
curious to see how that was going to be carried out. It was interesting to me that that Adelaide's other tethered,
Yeah.
I believe her name was Red,
Yeah.
that she was the only one that was actually able to speak.
Yeah.
And seeing, I did just skip ahead, but to that point when they kind of finally discover that, this is the story, and she tells the story of,
Mhm.
well, this is, you had this life, and on the other side, I had this life. And you can
Mhm.
see all of the, I guess, their polar
World.
opposites,
Yeah.
their world,
Yeah.
where it's the same folks, but they led very horrific lives. And how the one person that was really helpful in kind of helping to navigate through some of this horror
Mhm.
was the odd son. He was able to kind of channel and stop some of these things from happening. I love that they all came in and took action. They weren't just a screaming family going, they jumped in there and said, no, they were swinging bats. He
Yeah.
went out there, Winston Duke's character, Gabriel, I think his name was Gabriel.
Yeah.
Yes, he jumps into action to defend his family. He had to get a little buck when he did it, just to try to scare him. And then when he realized, it's like, oh. But it didn't stop him from
Yeah.
jumping out to try to really defend his family. And Adelaide, she did the same.
Yeah.
And I liked that there was more focus on the daughter, because at first I was like, well, what about her? Because that was the only doppelganger we hadn't seen a lot of. And
Mhm.
then
Mhm.
she appeared, and
Yeah.
the whole joke about her not being able to drive the car when she drove that car. But it really does make you think of, I guess to many people going to an amusement park or like a state fair and going through a house of mirrors, that's scary for many.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
wasn't scary for me. I mean, you're gonna hit some walls. But finding your long lost, murderous, violent, evil monster doppelganger in there is a twist I kind of wasn't expecting. And
Yeah.
then the fact that there's a whole crowd of people all
Yeah.
together, like
Yeah.
it's a whole nother world of evil doppelgangers who are carrying out whatever mission they are. It got put on the news, and how they were going to deal with that,
Yeah.
especially at the ending where you saw it on camera, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, so then what?
Right, exactly.
And I'm glad that everybody made it out alive. I
Mm.
mean, I'm sorry for the White family. I guess they didn't, but
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
sorry to those folks, but our folks made it out
Our folks.
alive.
That's who we cared about.
Swinging and mauling and clawing and clubbing and
For
having
sure.
to face some pretty violent fears, because you
Yeah.
think about what you would be doing in that kind of situation if that's what you had to face. And if you're
Yeah.
not immediately prone to violence, your immediate thought is fear. You're gonna be paralyzed, you're gonna run away, but
Yeah.
if you gotta fight for your life, then this is what they were willing to do
Yeah.
to survive as a family. But
Yeah.
I can only imagine that therapy bill will be very,
Oh,
very
goodness.
very costly.
Yeah. For real though. For real though. Oh my gosh. The I really I do remember there being, because like I had seen this movie later. Um I think Nope is actually the only film I saw of Jordan Peele's in the theater. But with Us, I remember there being a lot of talk about Lupita Nyong'o's character, or her role, um, her performance, and how well she played it. Like, people were thinking she might win an award for this. Um, that didn't happen.
Mm-mm.
And like just like thinking about her performance, she's playing, and I know they're all essentially playing, two characters, but as you said, Lapidus is the only one is who is playing who is whose doppelganger talks. And
Mhm.
so for her to perform not only just Adelaide, but then also Red, I think just speaks to her, like, abilities as a performer, as an actress. And I just remember being captivated, especially in which the way that she is playing someone who essentially all of these fears are being brought back as she knows, and she realizes what is happening, that she realizes this thing that I was avoiding for so long, right, is right back here. So just having to face that. She's playing that on one hand, right? And also too, a parent, right? She's concerned for her family. She wants protection for her family. And then at the same time, now she's also playing someone who she's playing the very thing, right, that is after her. And this whole like philosophy, and also to the what Red has had to go through as well. Just seeing the dynamics of both of those characters and her having to play that against each other. Again, it is not easy. It's I think it's easier for, someone playing two roles for one of them, if not both of them, to seem cartoonish. Because again, it's a lot to play two very different characters. Again, going back to Sinners, we saw that with Michael B. Jordan, there. And so I think that really speaks to someone being very skilled, right, in that area. And I was just like, once again, y'all only want to award us, right, for playing tropes. Because like
Mm.
her Academy Award winning film was 12 Years a Slave.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. I mean, I have a working theory, I think, that I may explore in another video, talking about how Hollywood doesn't like to award complex black women. Only wants to award the tropes. But maybe y'all will see that. Comment below and let me know. If you want to see that, because I'm definitely thinking about it. But yeah, I think it is my favorite performance by Lupita. Yeah.
It's so layered because we haven't touched on the fact that the version she's playing, the normal version,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
a tethered,
Yeah.
and that all the time she's wearing the mask of being normal,
Yes.
and is being normal because
Yeah.
is no normal as part of the other thing.
Right,
Is
right,
like
right, right.
she's always played that mask,
Mhm.
and then the other character knew what it was like to be non-tethered
Yep.
and was tortured for decades
Yeah.
in that world, and came out with that gravelly
Yeah.
that gravelly voice. All of the time both sides are wearing that mask of I was
Yep.
this
Yep.
and
yep.
I'm now this. So she's playing it at 4 levels all the
Yes.
time.
Yes.
It's an astonishing performance. It's so good.
So
And Chris,
good.
you said it before I did, which is that was there was a part of me that wondered if there was a twist in which they were possibly
Uh-huh.
each other and she made her way out, especially at the end. I'm like, oh, are they gonna notice? Because she was definitely doing that stare in the car at the end, and then she
Yes.
just said, you know what, this is my life, let's just go on and roll with it, and let's just do what we have to do. Because I also kind of thought, especially in the way that she had to, you know, maim. She had to do a lot of maiming, and after
Yeah.
she's coming out, she's protecting her family. She's covered in blood. She looks disheveled.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I wonder if this is the part where now she becomes a monster. And then I think that was kind of the foreshadowing that said, yeah,
Mhm.
that's what happened. And even to me, the other bigger theme about the fact that they were meant to be puppets, controlled from the underground to kind of,
Mhm.
carry out whatever bigger mission they were supposed to be. And
Yeah.
obviously they all got abandoned because humans.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But also shows why that probably should not happen, why there should not be clones or doppelgangers, because it inevitably would lead
Yeah.
to certain kinds of destruction if left unkept. They're
Yeah.
not eating food, they're
Right.
eating rabbits and all,
Yeah.
and put into places where they can't see the light.
Mhm.
And so just I would fr- I'd be hard pressed to know what would have happened had their original mission had succeeded for whatever they were really trying to accomplish
Mhm.
with the tethered.
Yeah.
But the fact that this one family
Mhm.
was able to come out unscathed, well, I wouldn't say unscathed,
Right.
but
Right.
as alive, hearts beating.
There you go. There you go.
Breath and lungs. It also shows the power of a good family unit, and that
Mhm.
everybody played a role. Nobody stood by and let
Yeah.
things happen. Everybody jumped in. The dad jumped in, the mom
Mhm.
jumped in, the kids
Yeah.
jumped in.
Yeah.
And I think that there was a sigh of relief as the two daughters, the two twins met the with the little flip kick thing was kind of funny to me. She flips off the balcony.
Yes.
And then I was like, I don't think she's all the way dead. I don't
Yeah.
think. And then of course, she springs up, and she had to meet her untimely end a second time.
Yeah.
But ultimately, just I was left kind of speechless after I watched
Mhm.
it, because again, I had no idea what I was going to see beyond the title card.
Yeah.
So, for the first quarter of the movie,
Yeah.
it's like a wholesome family vacation trip
Yeah.
that's probably going to go wrong, but you
Right.
just don't know how it's going to roll wrong
Yeah.
until, and I see why she wouldn't want to go back to Santa Cruz, as nice as that was.
Right.
On the Crawdaddy. The boat. Oh, and the fact that the dad's doppelganger also tried to start up the boat by slapping the engine. I thought that was
He's just here.
it veers to the left.
Oh my God.
He's in the water. He goes, it's still
Oh.
veering to the fucking left.
God.
Even in danger, you're still like, God damn it, this boat.
Oh my God.
It's something I probably would have said too. It's like, God.
Winston Duke gets to play like this wholesome, nerdy like guy. I absolutely enjoyed. He was so funny,
Mm-hmm.
so funny in this film.
Hmm.
It's just coming off of M'Baku, right, with Black Panther. Yep. Like I just love seeing the range. Yeah, and I don't know if he's been in anything like he's been in a few other movies like since then, but like just seeing
I'm going to watch
yeah.
the range for Rochester native.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. For those of you who don't know, Winston Duke is from Rochester, New York, where we
Mhm.
currently are.
Wow.
Well, for anyone who's obviously like listening from or watching from elsewhere.
Yeah, we're not in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. Um yeah. Anyway, moving on from there.
Yes.
But no, for me, I think what you were saying towards too, like towards or actually at the end, right? When you're seeing like when you sort of have like this whole she's they're driving and she's kind of like looking at her and you're like, oh my God. I I think when the credits were rolling, I'm sitting there like, okay, so what first of all, what did I just watch? Second of all, what am I meant to, and not in like a bad way. It's just like, oh my God, like, okay, there's so much that happened in this film. And I don't know if I've still fully like, even though it was like as I was preparing for this, for this podcast, like, um, I think this is the one that still leaves me kind of like in like a state of shock, like as far as trying to piece together, okay, what is it that I am meant to take away right from this film. Peel says that when he was developing this story, again, it calls back to like his thoughts of feeling like the other, or being seen as the other, as being labeled as other. um I guess they didn't have like when you're filling out the demographic like questions and stuff. When he was filling it out, I guess on that test there wasn't like, multiracial or biracial or anything on that list. It was, even if you're not African American or if you're not, white or, any of these other things, you go into the other box.
Mm.
So it's like going back to that, okay, what if, these this what if the thing that I'm facing, the thing that I fear is myself? What if the thing that I, fear, like this whole idea, right, of people fearing um, what is strange, what they don't quite understand, what they don't know. I believe around that time, uh, Chris, could you look up when was this movie released?
This was
2019.
2019.
Okay, so like 2019, and I guess at that time, Peel was again thinking through, not only just thinking about like his experiences with being labeled as the other, but there was a lot of discourse and conversation too around how people often reject the other, or it people are often put into a box because they're misunderstood. And so him coming up with this question of, well, what if the other looked like me? Right? Like how would you respond? How would you react? And so I mean that's definitely like throughout the film. Um and yeah, I don't know. Like what I guess, especially for that scene, I'm thinking of the scene of when it's being broadcast on the news and it's like all of the doppelgangers, I guess, like standing in the line, like joined hands.
Oh my God, what was it?
Hands Across America.
Hands
That's what
Across
it is. Hands Across
America.
America.
Yeah.
Which
Well-
it was this. So this is one of those like optimistic 80s kind of
Yeah, yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So this was like the, we are the world and
Mhm.
hands across America, and all we have to do is come together with optimism,
Mhm.
and it's going to solve all of the world's problems.
Right.
And using that as that echo,
Yeah.
I think was really smart. And it's funny that you mentioned that other as well, because he also formulated this as more of a pure horror movie, because the genre of the first movie people were confused by. I don't understand how somebody can be confused by it, but
They
the
white.
fact that people didn't call it.
There you go.
That's it.
I drink your milkshake.
And it wasn't a single milkshake in that film.
Because I think this was his inspiration from the Twilight Zone as well.
Mhm.
Was this goes into that classic sci-fi horror
Yeah.
things, while also carrying from his experiences. And
Yeah.
there's a quote looking at some of this was when he came up with the idea of the tethered living underground was when he was taking the train home from studying at Sarah Lawrence.
All right.
Where you get out of the train and you have to go down through an underpass and come out the other side. There's no one else there, just this dark American town. I'd come up and look over to the other side and picture seeing the tail end of myself going down that same tunnel to presumably emerge right near 30 seconds later. And that's where I love to start with a horror story. What's this primal thing that's affecting me in a way I don't quite understand?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's the way in which like artists will come up with a concept, especially for a story, just in like in everyday life,
Mhm.
I think is an incredible thing, because then you'll watch a film where you'll see something of theirs, and then you're listening to interviews and stuff, and it's like from the most either like from the most mundane thing, or at least the seemingly mundane thing, um and then just how their brain like that it informs like something that's going to be part of this incredible story that they're telling.
Mhm.
I just think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I cannot let this moment pass without mentioning, and I think that our audience at wherever they're at, we would smack me if I did not mention the genius use of "I got 5 on it," and they turned it
Yes.
into a horror
Yes,
instrumental orchestral
yes.
situation that now every time I hear that song, I think of the ominous behind it.
Yes.
I love that he was trying to explain the song to the. Is it about drugs? Because no, it's not about drugs. It's about drugs. But taking a song that is definitely from the culture, a song that
Yes.
any well experienced black person has heard.
Dun, dun, dun.
Like,
Dun,
I
dun,
do-
dun, dun, dun,
like,
dun. And then it's this like eerie, the
Mhm.
eeriest sound, and I'm just like, because I'll have um film scores like in the back, and it'll get to Michael Abels, who's the composer. And it gets to, and then I'll hear "I got 5," and I'm like, oh god, nope, time to turn. Sorry, I'm just trying to clean. I don't need like scary ominous music in the background right
and
now.
the whole family is in the car, like just vibing to it, and it's so odd to me because
Yeah.
it's like seeing kind of how this family has come together and seeing how they were behaving. It wouldn't have. It's kind of surprised me that he was terribly familiar with that song, much
Yeah.
less to do it, which means that there was a life that he had lived
Yes.
before this family came along, and I was
Mhm.
so curious to see how that came out beyond him going out to defend his family. So maybe that was him trying to get a little bit buck, or maybe that was him already kind of tapping into something that was already there. But
Mm.
I gotta commend because I like that song.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on to Nope. Um, Again, this one is like, for me, I think I've watched this more times than maybe more times than Get Out and Us combined, perhaps. Because it's like it's on every other week or day. So Chris, with our synopsis of the film.
2022 sci-fi horror film, siblings OJ, Daniel Kaluuya, and Emerald Haywood, Kiki Palmer, the most charming person in the world.
She is.
That's not in the summary, I'm just saying. Manage their family's horse wrangling ranch in a lonely California gulch following the mysterious and sudden death of their father. As they struggle to keep the business afloat, they begin witnessing chilling and uncanny phenomena in the sky above the ranch. Driven by a mix of curiosity and the desire for a profitable, impossible shot, they set out to capture definitive video evidence of what they believe is an unidentified flying object.
Perfect. Oh my gosh. I number one thing, right? So to go on your point about Kiki Palmer, I cannot think of any other person for this role.
No
Um,
way.
since movies could move, we had skin in the game, and I'm just like, girl. Like, first of all, she showed up late to the thing. Like, they're wondering where she is. She's supposed to give like their whole like speech for, like take like making sure like that the horses are taken care of, right, to do these stunts and stuff. I'm I'm like, oh
And
my
she
God.
did it.
And she did it. And she did it, right? I mean, like things are he's like super worried and stuff, and he's like, not obviously like he has stage fright, like he doesn't want to have to do that. Like that's her
I
her,
felt
her
so
whole
bad
thing.
for him.
I
I
felt
did.
so bad.
'Cause
Clearly he's an
they're
introvert.
dicking
Like,
him around.
like,
He
yeah.
that's.
Ugh.
But she comes up and
She
just
comes
kind
up
of
and she just
does what she needs to do to secure. And then, of course, I mean,
and
she
I do a
did
little
what anybody.
singing on the side.
Right. Yeah. I was like, and of course she's gonna plug her thing. I mean, if you're gonna be in front of a film, why not?
I mean, take that opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Because her goal, she said, this is for Oprah.
Yeah, this is
Oprah.
Oprah. Well, no, you said Oprah. No, okay. So so Oprah was his thing. I guess like she had said something else about, I think, with trying to like save what little they have left and everything like that, to try to obviously like sell what they would capture, right, of this what is it,
Thing.
they're not UFO, they call them some EAP.
Yes, something. So, yeah, UAP or something like
UAPs.
that.
Yeah, there is UAP.
The gentrified version.
There you go. Trying to get video of this. You know, she when in their conversation, in order to like sell it, I guess like sell the idea to him, she brings up Oprah because he apparently, holds Oprah to like, like this this pedestal and everything. But like
one of them people do.
one of them, it's not me. Sorry, that's another conversation. That's another entire conversation. Yes. But oh my God. I can't imagine anyone like handling that with like how Kiki Palmer handled it, and then just see their dynamic and him playing someone who's very like introverted. Like it seems like it's very, whoever did casting, if it wasn't Jordan Peele, like give them more money. Like because it's incredible just how suited they both are for their roles. He's very introverted and she's clearly extroverted. And just them playing off of one another, I think, is great. But then also too, like being someone who has a sibling, like yeah, like that whole sibling dynamic and everything, I felt every bit of that. And so it was also great to see like this sibling duo, right? And in this like, sort of situation, I thought was refreshing.
And I mean, as somebody who grew up in a small family business, I love that how serious he is, because he
Yeah.
feels the weight of
Right.
he's
yeah.
feeling the weight of history. It's not that she doesn't, but he's feeling the weight of keeping this alive.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And he's serious. And that's a lot of ways how I felt when I was
Mhm.
a kid too, is
Mhm.
that weight of
Yeah.
keeping this thing going.
Yeah.
And that colors everything he does and all of his decisions. And she's
Yeah.
more of that free spirit, big
Exactly.
character,
Exactly.
and that seriousness and also introversion, like those two combine into
Yeah.
that version of Daniel
Yeah.
Kaluuya in this film. And it's really, that was the thing that hit me most, and part of
Yeah.
why I can't watch it too much is because it
okay.
really, it hits home to me in a
Yeah.
very
Gotcha.
very personal way.
Yeah. For me also too, to that point, the reason for him like being so serious also too is, you find out later that the father, this was something that it was father and son, that was like bonding time, but then also too like the father wasn't including like her or M as much,
Mhm.
right? So it's kind of like this distant thing. It was like, oh well, you won't let me have, right? This was supposed to be my horse, right?
You training my
It's
horse.
training my horse. Like this was supposed to be also my thing. When the fact that she doesn't feel as included or she wasn't included as much also speaks to why she is the way that she is.
Yeah.
And
But
so,
he looked out.
right, he
did.
looked out.
As-
I know this whole thing.
Mhm.
Was
I like
great.
that they did that.
Yes.
That
I'm
was
sorry
not.
for people.
Oh,
For
sorry.
people who are listening,
We see. They did the
Yeah,
fingers. The we see you.
yeah,
we see each
you.
other.
That's what I just did. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm in the film. If you have no idea what we were talking about, please go back and watch the film.
Yes.
I think it's available now on Peacock.
It is.
Because that's where I've been watching it. So because like I said, it's my comfort horror film.
Mm.
If such a thing exists. So I can't move on without talking about that opening scene. Dear God. Okay. The one with the monkey.
Ooh.
I
And you watched it this morning.
I
Torres.
did. I watched it this morning. That was the thing that I remember. I mean, it took me a while to realize that the Gordy in Namesake was the monkey and not the kid.
Yeah.
But
Right. Yeah.
hearing about the accident and then seeing it and was like, ooh, that's gruesome. What a thing for a child to see. But hearing the balloons pop, and I'm already a person that doesn't like the sound of
Yeah,
balloons popping.
yeah.
So I can understand how that can set off a creature to go on a
Right.
violent rampage.
Yeah.
And what should have been a very happy moment. But I see why, Stephen Yeun's character would want to capitalize on that. Because like look at this really terrible thing that happened to me. How about I he even said like, oh, I usually charge people to see
Right.
this memorabilia. And mind you, OJ, who is not OJ Simpson,
Right, no.
Ha, 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 ha.
Right. Exactly.
But still had his father's namesake. Like he's here to do business, and she's obviously a lot more loose with her mission, and she has
right.
other things that she wants to go do. So she's kind of more interested in, of course, the spectacle of it all.
Yes.
So she wants to see what's going on, but
Yeah.
in that, getting roped up and finding out what this thing is, and then first. The poor monkey. I mean, I think there was a way we could have probably saved him. Sorry that he had to, violently hurt all those people. And right before he could even do the fist bump.
Right before we could do the fist bump.
Bloody fingers and all.
Oh God. I'm like, that's one scene. You know what? That is the one of the scenes that I will like if I because it's on in the background. I'll have it on in the background, and it gets to that part, and I'm like, we just gonna fast forward a little bit, head a little bit here.
You didn't want to hear the Donkey Kong noises?
I don't need to hear
stock
the
gorilla
I don't need to first of all, I don't need to hear the like noises of like the blood and stuff. No, I'm good.
It's pretty intense.
It's intense. I'm just going yeah, no.
I'm sorry. I still keep laughing at I mean, they could. I wanted them to use real monkey sounds. So the fact that they used the Donkey Kong sounds,
Oh my God,
that's kind of funny.
which is
Like
hilarious.
it's not supposed to be funny,
No,
but
it's
because
not.
it's like
It
the
really
actual
is
sound
not.
of real people screaming in
Yes.
terror, and it.
I'm not ever going to not hear that. But yes.
It's uncanny for me. I'm sorry.
Should have had the sound effects of people jumping over barrels.
Yes,
Oh
you may as well.
Oh,
I did
man.
think also that when they said UFO, I'm like, I didn't think it was going to be like an actual UFO until it kind
Yeah.
of sort of was. And then
Yeah.
when I was looking, I was like, why does this look kind of like the bottom of a cowboy's hat?
It did. And everyone kept calling it something else. And I'm like, am I the only one who's seeing the bottom of a cowboy hat?
This is the bottom of a cowboy's hat. I wasn't quite sure as to what was happening until I saw the remains kind of spilling out of that. And I will say that, eventually when it did take its true form, I did find it to be a little visually unpleasant, but
Yeah.
and
Oh,
all the
yeah.
sounds,
Yeah.
but the fact that they braved, all of that and
All of
setting
that,
all the
yeah.
things up with Angel, the store clerk who had
Oh,
a much
Angel.
bigger role
5
than I
stars,
ever
Angel,
thought
5
he was
stars.
going to have.
5
I
stars,
thought we were
Angel.
going to see that man once and we were never going to see him again.
Oh
I
my
did
God.
not know he was
funny
going
too.
to.
I loved that.
But
I
bless him,
loved him.
because he
Yes.
was an integral part in, trying to set up all of the things they did to,
Yeah.
get footage of what was happening, and the fact that they just kept on coming back because all I had to hear was the rumbling, and y'all would never have seen me again.
He's out.
I,
He got out.
I would have
Yeah.
been the namesake of the film. No,
No.
which
No.
they did say a number of times during the film. I was like,
Oh my gosh. To also speak to comedic relief, and especially in such horrific conditions, the the thing that got me and so many other people that I was watching the film with, at the little theater,
hey,
a was so so when he goes back, um uh oh my Daniel Kaluuya's character, when he goes back, to and it's like storming and everything, he goes back to the house, um, and Em and Angel are in the house. He's going back to driving back to the house, and the creature like is like messing with him, and it drops like the what was it, like the not the toy horse, but it's like the plastic.
the plastic
Yeah, yeah,
decoy.
yeah, yeah, the blood. Yeah. So he drops it right onto the truck, right? And it like
Hmm.
gives everybody a jolt, right?
Hmm.
Um and then he's kind of like sitting there in the truck, and then the only way that he can think to respond in that moment is to lock the door.
I mean,
I could not stop laughing at
anything
that
can
one.
happen. That's
Oh
just
my
to say, hey, somebody's going to get in
goodness.
on the side, and the fact that he was still able to navigate that vehicle despite that, bless him.
Yeah, yes. Bless him, but, yeah, I just thought it
And
was
he
very
wore his sunglasses
that
at night.
night. Very much. That's another great use of a song in a film, by the way. Like I got 5 on it, and you
Hmm.
got sunglasses at night,
Hmm.
which is just hysterical. Um,
I also thought it was really interesting how they they kind of gave you like a small synopsis of the story of each of the horses,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that they
yeah.
named the creature Jean Jacket.
Jean
And
jacket.
Jean Jacket, I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, is the name of a lovely pigeon that's out at the yards, and that's what I'm reminded of every time I hear that. But I mean, obviously, it's the name of one of the horses,
Yeah.
but to name this unidentifiable that
Yes, identifiable.
thank you,
Yeah,
calling it it just
yeah.
I was speechless in numerous parts throughout this film, whether it was through the comedic timing that kind of caught me off guard,
Yes.
and the strange horrors of people continuing to scream and retch and all sorts of things that was
Yeah. Oh
happening
my god,
to
that's
them,
ooh,
and then it taking
that
its
scene.
form of a jellyfish or whatever it was
It had,
trying to
like,
be.
so many, like it took so many forms, like, throughout this film. Couple things also too, like, I wanted to note with, like, going back to the horses and everything. So and I think Peel also make a note about this, and I thought this was funny. But there's a black horse and there's a white horse.
Mhm,
I think the white horse is called Ghost.
mhm,
Ghost, so when you first see um Steven Yeun's character, or at least you hear like the show that he's putting on, so you see all the lights in the distance,
mhm,
and then the lights like go, fade off, right? Or fade out. You see Ghost running towards like the uncertainty or like the danger or with something
mm,
that feels off, whereas the black horse is like, you know what, I'm gonna stay right
mhm.
here. And Peel makes a note of this. He's like, yeah, there's a reason why the white horse goes out there and the black horse stays put. And I'm like, that's
'Cause the
hilarious.
black horse was lucky, right?
Yes, black horse was lucky. The black
Mhm.
horse was like, um,
Yeah, I don't think so.
yeah, I
I
don't think I ain't going. The
ain't
black horse said nope,
Mhm.
like basically. And I just thought that was a funny note. And now
Mhm.
I can't unsee that. And I just think
Mhm.
it's
I mean, I
hilarious.
also laughed a little bit when that scene happened, and like the music stopped and
Yeah.
everybody was kind of in disbelief. But I don't know why I chuckled when like the slushy machine stopped too. It was like when that stopped, oh, it's about to something's about to go wrong if the slushy
It's
machines
about
aren't
to
working.
go.
People are about to lose their lives.
That's but they lose their lives indeed.
And then they
Yeah.
did. That's sad.
Yeah.
Sorry to those people.
Sorry to those people. The oh god, the biggest theme, of course, is about the spectacle and not getting sucked, literally getting sucked into the spectacle. Um, I think throughout the film too, what was great about that is a few things. One is the fact that like the thing that actually ends up essentially like not necessarily, I don't want to say saving, but for them to be able to get footage was none of these like digital, like digital devices.
Hmm.
It was the analog
The hand
devices.
crank
Yes, the
thing from the
hand
well.
crank. Right, which is again we're so consumed by all of these things like this new technology, right, that we're you know we get sucked in, we like lose out on like other things. And so the fact that it's actually analog that actually ends up capturing what
Hmm.
they've been trying to capture this entire time, which is just an amazing thing. um Also too, like you have so many people, I mean, like, oh, like this the thing that really gets me too is like the cinematographer, like towards the end, who is someone who's very skilled at what he does, is like, is constantly saying this is, you do I do one for them and I do one for me. It's something that in the film industry, we're constantly hearing, especially from directors who, may get into the industry doing something that they're not necessarily like passionate about. Like they still care about obviously, but then they have their passion projects and stuff. Something you're constantly hearing, but then even someone whose job it is to capture, the spectacular, um, I think also getting, like, sucked into that, I think is also,
Hmm.
says, a thing. And then the last thing is, like, throughout throughout the film, you're constantly seeing, again, little things here and there about like the family dynamic and the way that they were brought up and how they get along and everything like that. um but then I don't know, it's like and I'm starting to lose my train of thought. There are these little things like that happen throughout the film that really just like serve the greater story, again, about like spectacle and family. And the thing, it just came back to me. So um what Daniel Kaluuya's character is noticing about um this creature and how it behaves, right? Whereas like Stephen Young's character thinks that he can tame this creature because he had that moment, right, with like the monkey in the beginning, right? He thinks he can control, right? This creature, but because Daniel Kaluuya's character, what is his name again? Oh my gosh,
OJ.
why? Thank you. I'm like, well, I don't know why I'm blanking. OJ, because of the way in which that he has been trained, right, to handle horses, um, you know, knowing all of these like unsung like rules or unofficial rules, right? How to essentially break an animal, that is what informs how he then deals with this creature and until the and then it eventually meets its demise. I just think that was also a very like cool thing.
Hmm.
So
Also, Keith David, the man that you are.
Keith
As
David,
brief as he was on
I
screen,
know,
what an
I
impact
wanted
he
more.
he
Yeah,
he made.
yeah,
Like I said, I love the family. I mean, when you mentioned cinematography, I thought of two different parts,
yeah,
specifically the part where OJ was chasing away with the on the horse
yes,
through all the dust clouds, and the other part
yeah. Oh, I
with
love that.
with Emerald on the bike.
Yes, yes, which, like, apparently is a reference, like, at the end when she slides.
Akira. I was like
Yes.
Akira. We love a little nerd moment. And it was so cool because how
Yeah.
many times do you get to see black girls on bikes doing that? It was
Yes.
so many like juxtapositions all in one. So
Yeah,
I appreciated that reference in
yeah,
in the smaller tone. Like it
yeah,
obviously this film it reads like a western, and I guess California is the West.
yeah. Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
which
when
is
I think of the West, I think of
yeah,
Arizona and Texas and
right.
Montana and shit.
Yeah.
But
But no, I really do. Yeah, I appreciate that. The when you had talked about the that one scene, with when they're getting footage before, of course, the cinematographer then goes and takes it with him, and I'm like, oh, it was such a great shot. But it was the shot where you see OJ like on the horse, and then you see like the creature behind him like coming in, and you have like the swell of the music. It sounds very much like a Western. Like I think that's the part every single time I hear that and watch it, like I just get excited because like that's the kind of like epic scene that you don't see a lot, especially like with black characters, and so yeah, so that was a really
Yeah.
cool
It
sequence.
was. Also,
Yeah.
my expectations were subverted because I genuinely thought they weren't going to get the shot. I really didn't. So
Yeah.
then that they did.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, so now I was so curious to find out what their Oprah excursion was going to look like.
Before a white man ruined it.
White man ruined it, as is usually the case.
And on that note, I could talk about this all day, especially with Nope. But they're all like great films, like in their own rights, and again, this was all about giving flowers to Jordan Peele. So Jordan Peele, who definitely watches the podcast,
Do you like
thank you.
lilacs?
Exactly. Come to Rochester. But seriously though, no, I really appreciate, what he's given us, with these films. And I'm looking forward to more of what he has to bring us. Taurus, real quick before we wrap up, where can folks find and support you?
Well, you can find me at TAURUSSAVANT on all the nice social medias. Also at bandcamp.com, on the Spotify. I have some songs about some terrible things I've experienced in my life. Nothing that I suppose is horror film, but you never know what may happen. Thank you, Jordan Peele, for giving us some grounded black characters that we can relate
Yes.
to, that through all three of these films really explore the through line of intuition,
Yeah.
which is one thing that I'm always big about. So I'm grateful to have that and to keep it intact.
Well, and thank you so much, Taurus, for being on this podcast episode, coming back to the podcast to talk all things Jordan Peele.
Hey.
Let's see. And listeners will have information about where you can follow and support Taurus in the show notes or in the description below. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, wherever you're listening from, hit that subscribe button. Rate us 5 stars, share this episode, and leave us a comment to let us know what you thought about tonight's episode. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, all the things. Visit ourvoicesproject.com and sign up for our newsletter for more information about what we do. We'll be back with more episodes every Thursday with old and newly released movies that centered Black, Brown, and Indigenous folks, general movie news, and interviews with film festival programmers, curators, film critics, and filmmakers. Next week continues our series on Black filmmakers, their stories and contributions to cinema. We're handing flowers to filmmakers that we should be talking about. Some of you have heard of, some of you may have not. Either way, you won't know until the show premieres, so make sure you subscribe. This has been Jackie McGriff, your host for this episode of Representation in Cinema. As always, thank you for listening.
This has been a presentation of the Lunchador Podcast Network.
Is Get Out a modern horror take on Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? You're damn right it is.